this is your girl Shamika. Welcome to my channel, Live, Love, Life, and Travel. And I'm coming to you again from Los Angeles, California, here visiting friends for about a month till I head back over to Thailand. Today's video, I am going to talk about the pros and cons to solo traveling. If you would have asked me a couple of years ago if I would be traveling a foreign country thousands of miles away from everything I know, everyone I know, I would have laughed at you. I would have been like, no way, that's never gonna happen. I still remember the first time I went to Thailand. My ex-boyfriend at the time, my best friend now, convinced me to go to Thailand because I kind of got invited to join the end of someone else's trip in Thailand. And I remember when I first booked it, I booked 5 to 7 days. First of all, if you're coming over to Thailand or taking that long of a trip anywhere in the world, don't book it for 5 and 7 days. It's ridiculous. Like, my ticket was like $1,600. What was I thinking? But I was just like, I knew that if I met his friends, I would only be with them for a few days and I would be alone, and I was like scared of the idea of like being by myself in a foreign country. So but he like pushed me. He was like, no, like trust me on this. You're gonna get there and you're gonna love it, and you are going to regret booking it for that such a short amount of time, which I completely agree now. So he pushed me for like, and I said, okay, I'll do 10 days. He's like, no. I said, I did do 2 weeks. He says, no, that's not enough. I said, okay, 30 days and that's all I'm doing. I'm gonna be by myself for like most of it. I'm just so scared. And he kept assuring me that it was fine and it's safe, and he knows a lot of girls who traveled alone. And I booked the 30 days, and let me tell you, it still was not enough time. Towards the end of my first trip to Thailand, I so regretted so much not booking it for longer, even though I'm not sure if I would have been able to afford it at the time, but I did regret not having a longer time. As soon as I landed back in LA, I immediately started planning my next trip, and the thought of traveling by myself didn't even enter my mind. It didn't bother me at all. The first time you go, you just like kind of get it up. You realize that you're kind of fearful for no reason, or you realize that you're tougher than you think you are, or you learn that you're tougher than you think you are. I think the second time around telling people that I was traveling alone, there's like so many people that were like, oh my god, that's so scary, what are you doing, are you sure, are you safe, is it safe? And I was just like, why are you guys making such a big deal about it? Because you just, like I said, once you do it the first time, all that fear just sort of washes away. Before I became a solo traveler, I was always like trying to think of ways to get my friends and my girlfriends and my sisters and my family members all together to take trips. And if you are anyone who tried to plan a trip like that with anybody, especially a foreign country that takes time to save the money and stuff like that, like it's hard. It's not easy because everybody's calendar has to match up, everybody's finances has to match up, everybody has to agree where they want to go and when they want to go and when they get there what they're gonna do. So it can be difficult, and so it never happened. So in my opinion, if you're gonna wait forever for someone to have the same dream that you have, you may never accomplish that dream. So even if it's not traveling, if there's something you really want to do and you're sitting and waiting for someone else to like climb on board, you like don't. Do what you need to do. Go out there, live your dreams, go traveling. It's not that scary. Like, do your research if you need to, because there's like, I'm not gonna lie, there's certain places that even now I'm like, I'm not sure I would travel alone, only because I've had so much feedback from other people saying like I would not go there by myself, like South America and certain parts of Africa. And I could be wrong. If any women out there who's traveled solo through any of those countries, comment please and let us know what your experience was, because I do really want to go to those places. Like, I will go to India solo, even though you get a mismatch of comments like it's not safe, it is safe, but I met enough women who traveled through India by themselves and said it was fine, that I feel comfortable traveling in India alone. So let's get down to the topic at hand. Pros and cons to being a solo traveler. So let's start with the cons, which I believe is the negative. One of the cons to solo traveling to me, which is like one of the like simplest things that I think people take for granted, is not having someone who just has your back. And it can be like the smallest things. Let's say for instance, you're at a train station and your train is gonna be pulling up any second, but you really gotta pee. Like, you're gonna go any second now, and you know, trying to pick up your heavy backpack and another bag and get everything gathered that you like took out while you're sitting there and run to the bathroom, it's gonna take forever. Just being able to like tap someone and say, hey, can you look after my bag, is like everything. That's like everything. So you feel it when you are solo traveling and you do like meet someone on the way, like you meet someone on a train, just having that person you barely know but you put all your trust in to watch your bag while you can go run and take a piss is like a godsend sometimes. So I think as small as it is, just having someone just to have your back over those small things. I think another one is like safety sometimes. Thailand and Southeast Asia to me is relatively safe, but I'm not gonna lie, there are certain instances where like I have been traveling and I arrive in a city at like 3 o'clock in the morning and it's dark and there's nobody really out and there's not a lot of light. I would probably feel a bit more safer and a bit more secure if I had a buddy with me, if I had somebody else with me. Or when you're going through like the travel stresses, it's just so much easier to deal with those stresses when you have another person to sort of like vent off of or go back and forth with ideas and how to solve the problem or how to come up with a solution for the problem. Sometimes that I miss having that. Or when you feel like you may be getting ripped off or something like that, you feel like it would be harder for you to get ripped off if you had another person with you. Like I think sometimes people feel like it's easier to prey on like the one person by themselves. And I think one of the biggest cons to traveling alone is not being able to share all those really special moments with another person. Like that amazing sunset or the view from the mountaintops is astonishing, amazing, breathtaking. But would it be more breathtaking and more memorable if you were able to share it with like your lover or your life partner, your husband, your sister, your BFF? Like would it mean even more to you if you got to share it with someone else? So I'm not gonna like lie, like I do get a little bit jealous when I see like the cute little travel couples and I just like, oh my god, like it must be amazing. And just to think like that, like to be able to share something like that with someone you love has to be amazing. So I think that's one of the biggest cons of being a solo traveler, is not having that all the time. And sometimes feeling a bit lonely or isolated or left out can also be a con to solo traveling. But let's get to the good part. Pros to solo traveling. I'm gonna start with the biggest pro. The number one positive reason to become a solo traveler is pure freedom. Like completely saturated freedom. Like you don't have to ask anybody permission to do anything. You don't have to compromise with anyone. You can do what you want, you can say what you want, you can go where you want, you can go when you want, where you want, how you want, you can eat what you want, you can just be whoever you want to be, because you don't have to compromise or ask permission from anyone else. You don't have to maybe even subconsciously feel like you have to act a certain way because you're with your sister or you're with your best friend or you're with your boyfriend. Like it's just freedom, and I love that. It's to the point where it does start to even get hard to travel with other people for longer periods of time, because you start to realize how much time is wasted because you've got 6 people trying to all figure out what they want to do that day and what they want to eat that day and when they want to eat that day. Like it becomes more annoying. It becomes even more like apparent because you may have been a solo traveler for an extended period of time. Having to make sure everybody else is okay, almost feeling like you're a bit of a host to them. You gotta make sure they're having a good time. So I think the best part of solo traveling is just freedom. I think the other part of solo traveling, and I feel like a lot of times when people travel in groups or pairs, depending on the people, but for a lot of what I see is that they just stick together and they miss out on making friends with other people. And I think if people have traveled in pairs, traveled as couples and in groups, I think they don't even realize that how much of the travel experience they're missing out on because they're sticking to the people they know. And I get it. When I do end up traveling with other people along the way, I do the same thing. Like I don't feel as encouraged to go talk to the other person because I have my friend right here. So I think one of the biggest parts of traveling is the people you meet. You meet so many amazing people, amazing minds. You have just awesome conversations about life and dreams and fears and loves and wants and desires with other people that you'd have never met if you would have just stayed back at home or if you would have stuck with your friend. I think that is one of the biggest parts about traveling, and I think so many couples and groups miss out on that. To me, it's a huge part. Maybe even more than half of the greatness of traveling is just the people and the friendships you make along the way. There are so many places I can go travel now and knock on a door and somebody I know lives in other countries because I met them along the way through my travels through Southeast Asia. So I think that's another really big positive to solo traveling. I think the other positive to solo traveling, and people may not think this, is actually just being solo. Just being alone. I have gotten so good at being alone. I was okay with that, being by myself before, but I would usually more quickly become lonely or feel isolated, feel like I don't have any friends. But now I have to say, like not a lot of the times, but a good amount of the time of traveling, I actually prefer to be by myself. I love being alone now, and I'm become really good with just enjoying me, just loving me. I get so much thinking out of the way. I learn and I research and I educate myself, and I dream and I daydream, and I am constantly in deep thought about what I want in life and how I view the world and how I view myself. I feel like I'm such a better person for just being alone and just being okay with being with me. There's so many times where I feel like I run into maybe newbie travelers who don't understand why I don't want to go out with everybody all the time. I think they even think that I'm being shy, or I'm upset, or I'm sad, or I'm unhappy, and it's none of those things. I'm completely and 100% content with being just with me, and I'm actually really happy with it, and I'm at peace with that. Like, I love it. You do experience some type of loneliness, and I think when I first got to Thailand within 2 to 3 months, I did go through a stint of feeling extremely alone and feeling really, really homesick. And if you're feeling that way, it is completely and utterly normal. A lot of people that I've met who have traveled for longer periods of time always say, sort of right at the beginning to the 2 to 3 month mark, you will feel really lonely and feel homesick. I mean, I felt that way for a couple of weeks or a few weeks, and all I wanted to do was have a friend hug me or just message me, and yeah, it was really awful. But as soon as I got over that hump, I didn't really feel that type of loneliness again. And I have been traveling now for over a year and 3 months. And so you still get it here and there where you feel like, I kind of feel like having a conversation with somebody. And when you feel that way, you just go find someone and have a conversation. Great thing about traveling is people are really open to meeting new people, so it's not that hard to find someone who wants to talk to you. And I guess going back to what I said before with the con, the pro is meeting other people, making friends, having friends worldwide, having amazing conversations, sort of digging in someone else's creative mind that you wouldn't have met if you didn't go traveling. Expanding your own horizons, your own mindset by meeting other people from other parts of the world, or meeting like-minded people that confirms your own thoughts and your own views of life. That is one of the pros of traveling, is solo traveling, is meeting other people, which I've already touched on that, but I wanted to touch on it again because it's such an important part of traveling, and I think it's one of the great benefits of solo traveling is meeting other people and making friends and having these random spontaneous adventures with people you just met. So I think that's awesome. And having, like I said, having friends all over the world. If I want to go to London, if I want to go to Berlin, if I want to go to Belgium, if I want to go to Jersey, which is a place in England, or Europe somewhere. I just learned. I have someone I can say, hey, I'm here. Got anything to recommend? Where can I stay? Got a couch to crash? And I feel like people who travel in groups miss out on that. Another pro, another topic, it could be a pro or it could be a con, is finances, financially. I think it really depends on the people and the person that you're traveling with. If you're both on the same budget, then you can actually save money when you travel with other people. So being with other people can be a pro and can be a benefit to your pocket. But if you travel with people who have different budgets, like if someone is willing to spend more money than you, then you can end up spending more money than you would have spent if you were by yourself. In my experience, I always end up spending a lot more money when I travel with other people. So for me, being a solo travel financially is a pro, not a con. So, but it just depends who you're traveling with. Cause maybe you're traveling with somebody who has like a really good at budgeting money and knows all the deals and the secrets. But yeah, I don't know. I just think I love solo traveling. Being able to, I was always that kid who loved to explore in strange new places. So I kind of feel like I get to relive that as a solo traveler. Like one time I went to a waterfall in Copenhagen and there wasn't really any water in the waterfall. There was like kind of like just a trickle. So there was a waterfall and then there was the nature path, and the nature path is beautiful and all, but you can't really see the water or the landscape of the waterfall from the nature trail. So instead of walking the nature trail, I climbed up the actual waterfall, and I climbed up that waterfall for a good 2 hours and end up seeing the most beautiful view I've seen through my whole travel. So now if I was traveling with someone else, they might have been like, are you crazy? No, that's unsafe. I'm not doing that with you. And then I would have felt obligated to walk the nature path with that person. When I'm by myself, I can just do what I want and I can explore the way I want, and I can alter my travel experience the way I want to travel. So I think that it's amazing to solo travel, and I actually think everybody should experience it. You learn so much about yourself, and I think you become a better person because of it. In saying that, I would love to have the day where I can experience it with someone I love, like my father or my sister or my best friend or my lover, whoever you are. So that's it, guys. Those are the pros and cons to solo traveling. If you have any general comments or any stories of your own as a solo traveler, please feel free to comment in the section below. If you like this video, like it. If you want to follow my journey, please subscribe. Thank you guys again from Live, Love, Life, and Travel.